He's going to take it himself for a championship.
A double play wins it for Frazier.
Turn it to the end zone. What a catch. Micaiah touchdown.
Into the layup, goes at the buzzer.
Wins it. The championship.
The starting lineups will be announced shortly.
Ryan.
Hold on.
Hans, Grossman, Linderman, Henslovitz, Kane. And then hit time off, so it'll get you back to your screen.
And then all I do is time out.
He's going to take it himself for a championship.
A double play wins it for Frazier.
Turn it to the end zone. What a catch. Micaiah touchdown.
Into the layup, goes at the buzzer.
Wins it. The championship.
Welcome in here to Millburn High School, Dr. Keith A. Nigel Field. It's the Essex County Tournament semifinals right here on the D1 Media Pro page on the National Federation of High School Sports. The fifth-seeded Livingston Lancers take on the top-seeded Seton Hall Prep Pirates. I'm Kevin Connolly, joined alongside Ryan Lowry. We thank you for joining us here on this Wednesday afternoon. Ryan, outstanding girls semifinals yesterday. Expecting the same here for the boys today.
That's right, Kevin. We have two games today. The second game, succeeding this one, will be Seton Hall Prep, as they will be hosting West Orange. Both games are right here at Millburn High School.
Take a look at the updated Essex County tournament bracket. Start with this top half, and Seton Hall Prep, a first-round victory over Bloomfield, followed by their 3-1 victory over Montclair Kimberly Academy in the quarterfinals. For Livingston, they took care of Verona, but then, Ryan, a lot of controversy in that victory over Montclair. The story was that Montclair had scored a goal, but there was a hole in the back of the net that went unnoticed by the officials. The goal did not count. Moments later, Livingston then scored a goal and went on to win by that 1-0 scoreline. A lot of controversy coming out of that quarterfinal game.
That's right, Kevin. That game had a lot of controversy. As a result, Livingston was able to move on. That one goal by Chris Kane was the separator. They were able to win both games 1-0 and outscore opponents 2-0. Still haven't given up a goal yet in this tournament. It's going to be a very exciting one. Seton Hall Prep on the other side, they're no shy of scoring goals.
And now take a look at the bottom half of the bracket, the semifinal that we will see a little bit later on, which features West Orange and Eastside. And here's just a cleaner, updated look at the bracket with the championship games to come on Saturday at 4 o'clock at Caldwell. Girls Championship already set at 2 o'clock, which is West Orange. And what an upset we saw yesterday from Glenridge. The 12 seed takes down the 1 seed, and they are into the county final.
Kevin, that was a terrific game, one of the best games I've ever probably called in my soccer history with you. It was a very exciting one. Glenridge scored first, Montclair responded, then you'd start to think that the top-seeded Mounties would start to shift the game in their direction. A quick goal would seal the deal because the entire second half was just a grudge match on the right side of the field. Montclair's attack, but they could not come up with the victory. Glenridge held on to the 2-1 victory, and we're going to see them as the first game, and then the second game being the winner of this one and the next one at James Caldwell High School this Saturday.
Well, let's take a look at the starting lineups first for the quote-unquote visiting Livingston Lancers, led by Jacob Hans in goal. Who are you looking at this starting 11 to stand out today, Ryan?
Well, we've seen a lot of Livingston players this year who had high expectations who unfortunately fell short due to injury, but leading the team, Charlie Grossman with 6 goals and 4 assists, also draws a lot of PKs. Very talented, very skilled player, a future Division III soccer player himself, and not only that, Chris Kane garnered himself the nickname as the mayor of Montclair. He scored 3 goals against Montclair this year, and he is fired up for this one, coming off of the most recent Lancer goal.
Now here's a look at the starting lineup. For the top-seeded Seton Hall Prep Pirates, Raymond Bonanno gets his 8th start in goal, still filling in for the injured Aiden Donovan.
That's right, Aiden Donovan cleared to play today. He likely...
We apologize for those technical difficulties. Back on air. Ryan, before we get this one underway, quickly, what are your keys to the game?
Kevin, we have some great keys to the game today. Both teams are really defensively, heavily oriented teams, and specifically for Livingston, that's just to start strong and get that Seton Hall Prep team to understand that they are under pressure and they can no longer rule Essex County as dominantly as we've seen them rule this season. And then on the other side, Kevin, of course, for the Pirates, one thing they want to do is not only to also start strong, but to utilize that bat line, strong control on the ball. They've been doing it all year.
Well, we are underway here from Millburn in the first of 2 semifinals. Kevin Connolly, Ryan Lowy with you. Luca Chiricello gets a touch in the midfield. He tries to play through to Krupski. Ball gets batted away and out to the foot of Karan Shohan, who sends a shot wide of goal. Once again, your starting goaltender matchup, Jacob Hans for the Lancers, and it is Raymond Bonanno for Seton Hall. Seton Hall wears all navy blue. As for Livingston, they're in white jerseys and green shorts. They'll say that ball was deflected, and we'll have a Seton Hall Prep corner right in the opening minute.
And one thing to notice, we have a Division I soccer player on the field today, Kevin. That's Joaquin Nihenke, who is committed to Penn College in the Ivy Leagues.
Corners away, it's from Shohan, goes to the back post, off a head, straight up in the air, bouncing back out to the near side. Shohan gets a head on it, as does Mendez. It rattles off a couple of heads in front, trying to punch it out of the Lancers. It comes back out to the top, and it's sent over the top crossbar.
A sequence of opportunities right there, but the forwards for the Pirates just couldn't finish it up, and the Lancers quickly get a breather with Hans kicking away with a goal kick from the 6. Jacob Hans, to note, a junior, one of the goalkeepers to watch this year for NJ.com.
It was Lucas Mendez who was the one that sent it over the top crossbar for Seton Hall Prep. As Hans does, in fact, send out to the midfield off the goal kick. Pirates looking for their 8th consecutive appearance in the Essex County Tournament Championship game. Now remember, there was no county tournament in 2020 due to COVID, so from 2014 to 2021, Pirates have made 7 appearances in the Essex County Tournament. If they were to win this game and make an 8th, they would tie Columbia for the most consecutive finals appearance of all time. That Columbia team did it from 1979 to 1986. So certainly a long storied soccer history here at Seton Hall Prep, and the Pirates this Pirate team looking to carry on the history of other Seton Hall Pirate teams in the past. That ball to Wiley. Oh, and Seton Hall scores! Off the feed from Krupski. And the Pirates are on top first.
Well, Kevin, it didn't take long for Wiley Ong to find the ball far side, right outside the 18. He receives a splitting pass of the defense from the one, the only Edward Krupski, and that is the separator already. Look at that. We're just 3 minutes into this one, Kevin, and the Pirates have scored. Interestingly enough, the clock has not stopped for the goal, but the Pirates will put themselves up 1-0.
Wiley Ong, his second goal of the season off the assist from Eddie Krupski, his fifth, and Seton Hall leads it by a goal here against Livingston.
Before Livingston even was able to gain possession, Kevin.
Seton Hall came very close to scoring off a corner in the opening couple minutes. Livingston responds with a corner of their own.
And Kevin, Chris Kane scoring the most recent goal for Livingston, 5 goals on the season. And Charlie Grossman, not as dangerous as he only stands around 5'6", 5'7" on the corner kick receives. However, 6 goals on the season, so expect something big from his foot today, Kevin.
So it'll be a corner for Livingston. Now we'll have a stoppage for the clock to reset, and looks like we're ready to go with 37 minutes and rolling.
Do it again. Reset again.
Off the corner, comes in, off the head of Shohan. Now back out, where it's controlled there by Jacob Lowenthal. Lowenthal hounded behind by Mendez, and that ricocheted off the foot of Lowenthal, and a throw-in. Chiricello will play back. Peter Battenjohnny. Ryan, one of your keys today was just the strength of this Seton Hall Prep back line.
Yeah, Seton Hall Prep, one of the strongest backlines potentially in the state. Last year, they actually won that title, according to NJ.com. So this is a notoriously defensive team under Marty Berman, and ever since 2001, that has really just been their motto on the soccer field. Marty, over 35 years at the helm of the program.
Livingston throws in on the far end. Played in, Lowenthal got a foot on it. Chiricello tries to clear out. That one ricocheted up near the face of Chiricello. It was Dylan Santucci who tried to rifle a shot in, and the Pirates survive. They'll have a goal kick.
Kevin, one thing Coach Rubinetti told me before the game was that he is very concerned about the Seton Hall Prep defense and their goalkeeping. As a matter of fact, although Bonanno was in, he's been doing just a phenomenal job. This is around his 8th start of the season. He's been picking up some phenomenal wins and moving the team in the right direction. And not only that, but getting ready to come back. Donovan with some of the strongest thighs you will ever see out of a goalkeeper. Looks like a football player.
That one just missed near side. Seton Hall was looking to go up a pair. As for Bonanno, this is his 8th start. It's his 10th game played. He's 6-1 with 2 shutouts and has a goals against average of less than a goal per game, 0.75.
And Kevin, let's talk about that one loss. It was versus St. Anthony's of New York. Very reasonable loss. It's a nationally ranked program. That game was played at the Pingree School down in Basking Ridge near Bernards Township.
Seton Hall will throw in on the near sideline. Wiley Ong scoring for Seton Hall Prep off the Eddie Krupski assist. Just 2 minutes into this one to put the Pirates on top.
Kevin, last year Livingston made it to the same round of the county tournament. Unfortunately, a red card would put the team down 1-0 from the goalkeeper within Logan Paredes, the senior who is now graduated. 3 goals to follow. West Orange would take down Livingston after losing the first time to them 1-0 in the regular season at Livingston High School.
Tackle from behind, no foul called. Ref says play on. Battenjohnny breaks up the pass. They were trying to work it through to Chris Kane. Now rolling ball towards the end line. Bonanno calls everybody off, and he'll pick it up outside his cage. Last year's Boys County Final featured really exciting matchup between Seton Hall Prep and West Orange. Seton Hall Prep came away with a 2-goal victory. They won by 2-0 scoreline. Perhaps we could have a rematch if both teams were to win their semifinal matches here today.
Yeah, that isn't if the East Side Red Raiders don't play the phenomenal soccer they've been playing all year. They're one loss, a reasonably nationally ranked team we're seeing right now within the Pirates.
Well, trying to respond there are the Lancers, but a shot from Santucci is sent wide.
The junior rifled one far side. That was a brilliant finish. And the Pirates are playing quickly. They don't like to play the ball away on goal kicks. They love that backline control, Kevin, as I was talking about. That's a key to their game.
Mentioned Seton Hall Prep picked up a 2-0 victory against Livingston in the regular season. That game was played on the road for the Pirates at Livingston.
Kevin,
Kind of interesting in our other semifinal that we'll get into a little bit later on. West Orange and Eastside did not play each other in the regular season. They had a game scheduled that got postponed due to rain, and then the two teams couldn't find a common date to reschedule the game for, so that game just went unplayed in the regular season. So first meeting between the Mountaineers and the Red Raiders to come kick off for that game scheduled for just after 7 o'clock.
Kevin, here's the interesting thing, too. I think they might have called that game a little too early because a lot of football teams and soccer teams that day got their games in.
Another throw-in for Seton Hall Prep. Chiricello plays the ball through. Krupski will try and showcase his speed to keep it in play. The ball trickles out of play across the near sideline.
Kevin Krupski, 6'3", one of the best forwards you could probably ask for right now. The junior, which means another year of eligibility, has 13 goals on the season. Tack on an assist to that statistic, as he assisted Wiley Young's goal as the separator so far.
Now you could be looking at next year's Player of the Year here for Seton Hall Prep, making his mark as a junior. Oladapo, the good defense, shielding away the oncoming attacker to set up the Pirate goal kick. And they'll play quickly.
And Kevin, how about this for Raymond Bonanno, too? He's getting the start as well, just as a junior. Seton Hall Prep is set.
Near side. Lancers control. It goes out of play and a goal kick. Brian, why is it so hard to score against this Seton Hall Prep? Not just their back line, but their team in general. They play such a tactical game, so good at valuing the possession of the ball.
Well, Kevin, I'll hold that thought.
As Chiricello rifles a shot just wide of the far post.
Well, Kevin, in answer to your question, Seton Hall Prep's defense, big, strong, fierce, and they know how to control the ball. They don't just clear the ball like you see a team like Bloomfield do, like you see Nutley do. Even teams like Livingston that specialize in backline play sometimes just feel the need to play it away. Seton Hall Prep, they never feel the pressure like most of the teams do, and they very rarely give away any goals. So last year they gave up the least amount of goals in the state of New Jersey, and they, of course, never lost a competition. They tied one to Montclair, 2-2 at home. The rest, their 20 victories to seal the divisional, the county, and the sectional and state title for non-public A.
Taken away by Chiricello in the midfield. He's been all around the ball. They'll find Joaquin Nehenke. Now it's Marcus Brozon looking to find Krupski. Krupski lets it go for Chiricello. Here's Shohan with Ong on the far side of him. Karan Shohan with a shot. It got blocked, and Hans was forced to make the stop.
Heroic Hans there on the dive. That one deflected off of the shot, as we said. Nehenke, keep an eye on him, committed to playing Ivy League Division I soccer. Penn College. My apologies, UPenn.
On a play near side. Livingston fires in. Linderman intercepted and off his leg on the pass by Mendez. Back on goal, Bonanno. Linderman again got his head on it. Lowenthal there as well. Lights are on here in Millburn. It's a chilly Wednesday. Temperatures in the mid-50s. Sun setting. Was an overcast afternoon, but the sun has come out at around 4 o'clock, just as the teams began to warm up, but hasn't warmed things up much in terms of temperature. Luckily for us, Ryan, second consecutive day we're inside a press box.
Yeah, that's right. We were very happy to be inside the warm climate of the Al J. Jacobson Field press box for 2 great games, and I would really not have liked to share it any differently, Kevin. It was just a phenomenal evening. Both games were just so well played, and the meaning of them, too, was just phenomenal. The rivalry in the first game and just the intensity of Glen Ridge taking down an undefeated team like Montclair, head coached by Ashley Hammond. Just what a night.
And didn't feel all that bad about the fans and parents and students that were right below us outside in winter coats and winter hats and gloves. And we were sitting nice inside the press box. We weren't too upset that that was in our favor, because we certainly have been on the other side of that.
Oh, yes, of course.
We've certainly been out there in the elements, specifically this season, a couple of games where it's just been like, man, what are we doing out here? So sometimes when one bounces in our favor, we won't complain about it.
Kevin, I think the 2 games so far this year that I've seen with the toughest weather, definitely the game I was at, West Orange and Livingston girls with you, played at the Madonna Turf in Livingston. Some very tough weather we had to endure there. And the first round of the county tournament, I called Seton Hall Prep in Bloomfield. I believe you were at West Orange's matchup versus Barringer Academy of Steam.
Yeah, you had a little bit better time than I did. You were inside there in Brendan P. Tevlin Field. I was out in the elements at West Orange, and when I tell you it was a monsoon, it might have felt like a hurricane. That's how much it was raining that day. But good weather conditions here in terms of no precipitation, and same forecast, even a nicer forecast for Saturday for these Essex County Tournament finals. Current forecast sunny and mid-60s, so ideal soccer conditions scheduled for Saturday. Again, girls final is at 2. That's West Orange and Glen Ridge. Boys final is at 4. You'll know the participants right around 9:30 tonight. 25.5 minutes left to play here in this first half, and Seton Hall Prep with a 1-goal lead, 2.5 minutes in. Outstanding strike by Wiley Young.
Yeah, it was a brilliant pass as well by Krupski getting the assist on it. Just a terrific finish. Split the defenders, the sweeper and the stopper Livingston presented in the effort. It was Henselvitz and Pessoa, the 2 Lancer defenders, that were split.
Busy weekend of championship soccer to come here on D1 Media Pro. It all begins on Friday with the Hudson County boys and girls finals. 5 o'clock from Red Bull Arena in Harrison, New Jersey. The girls take the field first. It'll be the Bayonne Bees against top-seeded Kearney Cardinals. Joseph Henry, Zach Zweibel on the call of that one, and they'll also be on the call of the 7 o'clock game, which is a big-time grudge match between top-seeded Kearney and second-seeded Union City. Kickoff for that one is scheduled for 7 o'clock, and then we told you about the Essex County finals on Saturday. Also on Saturday, Union County finals Girls at 5, boys at 7:30. It's Westfield and Scotch Plains Fanwood on the girls' side, and Westfield and Elizabeth at 7:30 on the boys' side. Michael Cerroti with our coverage of that one from Arthur L. Johnson High School. It was a foul on Seton Hall, sets up a Livingston free kick, comes off the foot of Charlie Grossman, backed out to the top and cleared away by Chiricello. And Ryan, not to mention all those championship soccer games with our regularly scheduled coverage of regular season football. Final couple of weeks of the regular season winds down. Our marquee game of the weekend, or two marquee games of the weekend, Irvington on the road taking on West Orange, and then in non-public action on Saturday, St. Joe's Montvale against Seton Hall Prep.
Yeah, I'll be on the call for the Irvington West Orange game. That's senior night for West Orange. It's been a up and down year for both teams, who have 2 losses to their name, surprisingly, as both teams were expected to not go undefeated, but maybe lose a game or two. They've already lost 2 games, and one team's going to lose a third. Irvington lost 2 in a row. West Orange, 2 very surprising losses so far.
Yeah, and then you have a top 20 matchup that Jacob Gorin will have our coverage on Saturday afternoon, a 1 o'clock start between the Pirates and the Green Knights. Always a good time when those powerhouse non-public teams clash. And I expected another good one on Saturday. So you're not going to want to miss anything right here on D1 Media Pro. You can see all of our upcoming scheduled games on our console on the upcoming tab when you search D1 Media Pro on the NFHS Network.
And Kevin, we'll be right back here together for the Essex County Finals. That's going to be a very exciting one.
Seton Hall Prep looking to win their 8th championship in the Essex County tournament. They have 7 in its 48-year history.
And Kevin, not to mention this year they won their 9th SEC American Divisional Championship in the 14 years since the realignment.
Far side, throw in upcoming. It'll be Oladapo and the Pirates. Midway through this first half. Ryan, Seton Hall Prep came out guns blazing. Had an early chance that Mendez sent high, and then Wiley Ong connected a few moments later to give Seton Hall Prep a 1-goal lead, but haven't had much offense to speak of. One dangerous shot by Chiricello as that one rattles off ahead and Hans comes out to make the stop. What have you seen from this Livingston back line? Have they made any adjustments to try and counteract this potent Pirate attack?
Well, Kevin, they're trying to control the pace of the game. We've seen a little bit more attack as the Pirates really scored before the Lancers really got to breathe. It was under 3 minutes into the game where we saw that goal difference. But as you can see, so far back and forth, but the Pirates, that strong start that they would have hoped for. The last time these two teams played, it was a 2-0 separation at Livingston High School under the lights, so.
Trying to weave and split defenders was Santucci. It gets cleared out by Bauer on the near end.
And Santucci, the Vulcan product, his club team where he will resort after this fall season of soccer. And that's one thing about the SEC American Division. It's consistent with not only its phenomenal athletes, but some guys that are playing club tournaments around the world.
While we have time, I want to thank a couple of our sponsors for their continued support of New Jersey high school athletics, keeping our athletes fit and healthy. Those at the New Jersey Sports Medicine Institute and Corey Chiropractic. If you're an athlete, need of an orthopedic, or just need to get checked out, visit the New Jersey Orthopedic and Sports Medicine Institute, as well as Corey Chiropractic. 2 key supporters of high school athletics here on the D1 Media Pro page on the National Federation of High School Sports.
Kevin, still 1 regular season contest to be played for West Orange. It's an interdivisional matchup versus a fellow private school in Livingston, New York Academy. Scheduled for the Kelly Athletic Complex on the 24th.
Yeah, that'll be Seton Hall Senior Day as well. The free kick for Livingston's played short and broken up there by Brozon. Blinderman tries to send back into the middle. Now he'll have to go back out and retreat. Tries to play up the near side and sends it out of play. More than 20 minutes gone here with this first half. Seton Hall Prep still with a 1-goal lead. The goal scorer, Ong, breaks it up on the far end, and he gets met right there by Henslowitz. Touch too far. No one tracks it down for the Pirates, and it goes back to Livingston. Pirates made a couple of substitutions at that last whistle. Luke Warjenka checked in. They tried to find him cutting down the near side. Gideon Zalis also in for Seton Hall Prep as Lucas Mendez, who was shaken up at the end of that Montclair Kimberly Academy quarterfinal win. He came out alongside Karan Shohan. Warjenka, beautiful ball to Krupski. Eyes it down. Krupski connects. And Seton Hall leads by 2.
By number 9, Edward.
That's a goal and an assist on the day for Edward Krupski. Division I soccer looming in his career as he's trying to cap another consecutive Essex County Tournament Championship by qualifying for the finals this Saturday. A 2-0 lead is pretty healthy considering the possession they can hold against this Livingston Lancers team, Kevin.
Eddie Krupski, the goal. He's got a goal and an assist now, has bumped his numbers up to 14 goals on the season and 5 assists. And what a start for Seton Hall. Livingston now almost in need of an answer before halftime. Ryan, we saw this in the quarterfinal victory for Seton Hall Prep. They jumped out to an early 2-goal lead. Montclair Kimberly Academy was able to get into halftime trailing by 2. They collected themselves, and at the midway point of the second half, they scored a goal to get themselves back within 1. But then the Pirates added 1 late and went on to that 3-1 victory.
Yeah, and MKA, a team that really has considered themselves on the rebuilding end of things. They just moved down to the Liberty Division where they had a solid season, a few games over 500 for them. But regardless, they've put up a surprising 3 goals in 2 competitions against the Pirates. They lost the first one 3-2 and then 3-1. Both contests, they stayed in it, Kevin.
Yeah, they did. You could certainly see watching them at different points of the season, they're going to be good in a couple of years. And that's kind of what West Orange head coach Doug Nevins told me after opening day last year. West Orange played Eastside on opening day last season. And after the game, he comes up to me and we're talking about the game and he said, man, next year, in the next couple of years, these guys are going to be really good. And he said the same thing about MKA, and obviously he was proven right with Eastside as they're really good. They're unbeaten here, or they have 1 loss, and they're in the county semifinal.
And I can't tell if this helps or hurts the excitement of it, but the fact that they're not going to see each other in the regular season, Eastside and West Orange, is quite interesting because you like to see all the head-to-heads being played when you're in the same division. That's not going to happen outside of the Essex County tournament. So,
but certainly always the good thing is, feels like in these semifinals, the best in the county always play the best.
Absolutely.
Feels like the best teams always rise to the top, and we have these outstanding matchups. Although on the girls' side, we have a 12 seed in the county final, with Glen Ridge has upset the 1, 4, and 5 seeds already in this county tournament, and now they'll take on 3rd-seeded West Orange on Saturday afternoon.
Kevin, for both girls and boys, but specifically boys, there's usually more than just a team or 2 that's ranked in the top 20. Yeah. Essex County soccer, just phenomenal.
I mean, in this case, you have 2 teams knocking on the door of the top 5, Seton Hall Prep and West Orange, and Eastside knocking on the door inside the top 10.
This Livingston team you're seeing on the field started off the season with a tough start, which pushed them out of the top 20, but recently they've been playing top 20 caliber soccer. That win versus a strong Montclair side really showed that.
Warjenka, a through ball to Ong. Wiley Ong is unable to control. Throws on to Chiricello. Warjenka picked up the assist on the Krupski goal, his 3rd of the season. Ong to Oladapo. Oladapo with space, slits it back to Ong. Ong trying to turn the corner and send across. He will in towards the middle, and it gets cleared out there by Blinderman. Another shot comes in, and Hans barely misses it when on the far end. He will get the goal kick.
Kevin, you mentioned Oladapo. Alex Oladapo plays MLS Next Soccer. That's about the highest level you can get when it comes to club soccer. So Seton Hall Prep really knows how to develop their talent.
This is arguably the best I've seen Seton Hall come out of a game to start this season. I mean, have been on hand for a lot of their victories, and obviously some have been by large margins and by dominant numbers. You look at the 7-0 win against Verona, you look at a 6-0 win against Cedar Grove, but given the stakes of this game, this might be the best I've seen the Pirates look in the opening 25 minutes of a game. Question will be, can they keep it up for the rest of this one? And the 2-goal lead certainly helps them.
And the question will be, will they lose a game in the state of New Jersey, Kevin? They have not lost a game in the state of New Jersey in over 2 years' time.
Yeah, last time Seton Hall Prep lost against a New Jersey opponent was that 2020 season. They lost in double overtime on the road against West Orange.
Must I mention that was a top 5 year for them, where they would take home their abbreviated state sectional tournament title. I believe the Green Wave of Del Barton, right?
Yeah, that was the last time Seton Hall has lost a game against a New Jersey foe. Simply incredible. Over 35 wins, no losses, and 1 tie since that late September night in 2020.
And must I mention, they are beatable, Kevin. 2 out-of-state losses against teams that could keep up with many Essex County foes. What's interesting is after this tournament, only one more team can take them down in the regular season, Kevin. That would be Newark Academy. And although they may not play in the same division, they're playing great soccer, including a win versus Livingston in overtime.
Ryan, we talked about how tough it is to score against this Seton Hall Pirate back line, and you see there with the speed of Batten-Johnny, Livingston now forced to take some chances early in this one, trailing by a pair. Seton Hall wins the throw-in.
Kevin, this Pirates team right now, all gas, no brakes. They've been controlling.
Brozan will have to go a few steps back to throw in and then just flicks it into the middle of the field to Nahenke. Well, I'll tell you, another coach that I enjoy watching his teams play has that same slogan of all gas, no brake.
The Jets.
Yeah. Some would say one of the best teams in football, but I digress. As there's a foul in the midfield, and it'll be a free kick for Seton Hall Prep.
Well, Kevin, you want to know what's funny? You want to know where I came up with that? I was actually at a Jets event today at MetLife Stadium prior to this.
Were you?
Yes, by coincidence, of course.
I'll tell you, talk about, I guess this is football, but be more specific, American football. This state is buzzing. The Jets and the Giants playing some outstanding football, surprisingly, to start here in the beginning of the year. But back to the action on the field. Nahenke, the free kick, goes off ahead. It was off Pessoa. Marjenka trying to send back into the box. Out to the top for Livingston. And it'll be cleared away there by Lowenthal. Pirates will make a couple of more substitutions. The next opportunity they get. Coming to the line to sub in is Roan Sullivan. And Gideon Zales will come back in. Krupski gives it a run. Hans will kick it out to the near side for Lowenthal. Lowenthal makes a nice move on the near side with just over 10 minutes to play before halftime. Krupski, offside. Flag goes up. It was by maybe less than a yard, but Krupski ruled for the offside.
Well, Pessoa held the back line, and he was caught flat-footed. He was actually quite lucky there, because Krupski is very rarely caught offsides. That guy can time runs better than I've ever seen before. That's the thing about Krupski, Kevin, is that he might not be the fastest player on the field. Yes, he has some speed, but he might not be the fastest, but he most definitely, in my opinion, is the smartest.
Livingston trying to cut their deficit in half as the lineup a shot, and fanning on the shot there was Santucci. Brian Santucci's had a couple of opportunities to give Livingston a goal, but hasn't been able to connect yet.
Kevin, you want to hear an interesting statistic?
Sure.
Well, leading in goals for Seton Hall Prep now with 13, Eddie Krupski. And for the Lancers with 6 goals leading. That's a different player. That's Charlie Grossman. So double the amount for the leading goal scorer for Seton Hall Prep.
First half that has seen 2 Seton Hall Prep goals. The first by Wiley Ong, the second by Eddie Krupski. Linderman throws in Santucci to Lowenthal. Lowenthal near the flag, sends across, played towards the back post. Santucci rifles a shot, and it's well wide near side.
It's great positioning. I'm afraid it was Schenk there, though, but there's great movement there by the Lancers in the box. They're really starting to gather it together down by 2 goals. And Kevin, I'll tell you what, it actually seems to have warmed up, at least from here in the box.
Livingston looking to get back on the ball, take down Seton Hall, a foul, and a chance for the Lancers to connect. They'll have a free kick from just outside the 18. It'll come from just inside the 15-yard line. It'll be Charlie Grossman, who will take his time. The wall of Seton Hall has to back up a few yards. Now it'll be Henslowitz. Grossman gives way, standing right next to the Pirate wall. They'll begin their run, they'll play it short, they'll try and chip it into Grossman, and it's denied. Broken up there by Nahenke. And Livingston will throw in on the far end. Cleared out, bouncing ball to midfield. Krupski gives it a run. Slows his run to control off his body. Gets it poked away by the foot of Ethan Goldsmith. Seton Hall to throw in.
Ethan Goldsmith last year managed due to injury.
Oladapo drops back for Batten Johnny, who will play across for Bauer. How many times have we said that so far this season for Seton Hall Prep?
It's their style of play, Kevin. They want the defense involved in the attack, not even on the attacking side. That's where they work the ball up just brilliantly and give the runs to Krupski.
Nice job to stay on side there for the Pirate that sends sky high up in the air. Hans reaches above Krupski to bring it down. There's Julian Siljanovsky on the cross on the far end for Seton Hall.
It's Gabriel Kanchik checking in. Or excuse me. Yes, that is Gabriel Kanchik checking in. Taking out Chris Kane, who had the most recent goal for the Lancers.
Near side, kept in there by Livingston. They'll try and turn the corner, but Santucci lost the possession, and it's a goal kick.
Kanchik playing up top for the Lancers, usually a defensive sweeping style soccer player, so that's interesting.
Seton Hall surprisingly goes quickly. Rowan Sullivan, who has emerged late in the season for the Pirates. And remember, Seton Hall playing without Maxwell Williams today after he picked up a red card in that quarterfinal victory over MKA. So he is out for the next 2 Seton Hall prep games. So only game left on the Pirates' schedule, should they win this one, would be the county championship, and Williams would not be available. Brozon. Oladapo fans on the clearance attempt. And it's a Livingston throw-in with under 4 minutes to go before halftime. There's a cross in towards the box. Nice job by Warjenka, shielding Lowenthal away from the ball as Brozon sent it off his head out of the box and cleared. It'll come out of play and Seton Hall throw in. Nicholas Lapchinsky comes in. Warjenka will get a breather before halftime with just over 3 minutes to play. Bonanno rifles out. Oladapo to Sullivan. Hounded from behind by Santucci. Santucci got his foot on it and is able to play to Lowenthal.
Miscommunication there.
Yes, frustration setting in there between Lowenthal and Blinderman as it results in a Seton Hall throw. Here's Charlie Grossman at midfield. Off the shins of Santucci. Feldman to Blinderman. Sends downfield. 3 Pirates chasing after it. It's only Santucci for the Lancers. And the shield goes to Battenjohn, and it'll be a goal kick.
Kevin, look who's in town. Eastside has arrived, and they are going to watch and see who their opponent could potentially be.
Eastside West Orange coming up a little after 7 o'clock. In our second semifinal. 1:40 to go here in the first half, and Seton Hall has 2 goals thanks to Wiley Young and Eddie Krupski. Off the foot of Brozon. He gives chase, as does Santucci. And it'll be a corner for Livingston. Just over a minute to play. Can the Lancers connect before halftime to cut their deficit in half? Kevin Connolly, Ryan Lowy here from Millburn High School. Semifinals of the Essex County Boys Tournament. The Lancers will have a corner. Trailing by 2. They'll chip in towards the back post. Nearly colliding were Bonanno and Krupski, but the ball is worked out of the box. Looked to be cleared out there by Zalis. Gideon Zalis. I think they'll get him with the foul. And the free kick coming for Livingston. 30 seconds to go in the half. Lancers go quickly. Clock still moving. Rolled out to the far end. Now they'll try and cut back, losing his footing as Zalis comes away with it. It was Lowenthal who lost his footing. Zalis now battles for it. Plays to Oladapo, who sends out of the box. It's played down there by Henslovitz. And it's an offside on Livingston with 10 seconds to go in the half, and that should do it for the end of this opening 40 minutes that has Seton Hall Prep leading by 2 on the Wiley Ong and Eddie Krupski goals, and an outstanding first half in goal from Raymond Bonanno. That's going to do it for 40 minutes. We'll step aside for our halftime break. Seton Hall Prep 40 minutes away from their 8th consecutive Essex County Tournament Championship appearance. We'll be back right after this here on D1 Media Pro.
He's going to take it himself for a championship!
to the end zone. What a catch! McKay's on touchdown.
Into the layup, goes at the buzzer.
Wins it! The championship!
The North Jersey Orthopedic and Sports Medicine Institute is the preferred practice for diagnosis and orthopedic treatment in New Jersey. Our focus includes sports injuries, as well as the treatment of a broad range of orthopedic complaints, from common tendon ailments and arthritic joint pain to traumatic injuries. Our facility offers an on-site physical therapy suite, in conjunction with specifically designed exercise programs, non-invasive and advanced healing technology. Specialist Dr. Michael Rusinella utilizes non-surgical and minimally invasive surgical procedures to help patients regain back their quality of life.
There you go to the air again, and there. And that's a touchdown. That's order. Gordon, back to pass. Gonna throw a deep ball, far side, caught! Touchdown! Nasir Addison on the reception. And Irvington jumps out on top. It's 6-0 Blue Knights. 9:01 left to go here in the first quarter.
Oliver from the shotgun. Takes the snap. It's a passing play. They'll work easy to Phillips. Phillips got a lot of yards. He's to the 20, 10, 5, touchdown! Nice run there by Seton.
He drops back. Little pressure. He comes up. He throws it deep. And it's a flag on the play, along with the reception.
A lot of time to make a play.
Third down and long. There's a pass play, and it's intercepted! Eric Perez with the pick. Can he go to the house? He lost the ball. He recovered it. What's the sign?
That's Smothers saying, look at him go. He just broke through the whole defense.
That's right.
He looked like he's going to take that to the house right there. That's a touchdown. He didn't even cut.
Touchdown Cougars.
That's the most dynamic play I've seen all year.
Number 3, Dylan
That's why he's got.
They snap to Slade. They'll run a trick play. They'll throw it along. He catches it. They win! A trick play from St. Peter's Prep wins it in overtime. J.D. Farkas looking to work in. There's a stutter step. He lines up, and we're tied at 3. Camacho with 6. Armstrong the steal, all by himself, take flight, Mark Armstrong! Oh, that's how the third quarter ends, with an exclamation point from the Villanova-bound senior. Last minute of play here in the first period. Marauders walk in at the circle, they'll send one in, they score! Oliver Harag gets the Marauders on the board with 56 seconds left to play in the first period. Walk in here. Payoff pitch is smoked out to left. Rapinski gives Prep a 2-0 lead. He took the payoff pitch and belted it way out of here. The designated hitter stays hot for the Marauders, and Prep's up by 2. Thomason, handoff, has room. He's got the first down. He stays on his feet. Thomason dives. Touchdown! First title since 2016. Phillips with numbers 3-on-1. The finish and a 4-point Pirate lead. Pitch is hit in the air, right field. Reed going back on it. He's still back. He's looking up, and it one hops up against the wall. On his way to score is Harcourt. Heading to third is Sprock. He'll put the brakes on and scamper back to second base. There's a shot and a goal! Charles Giordano to put Seton Hall Prep up 2, and they're 5:37 away. Up by 2. They have a 2-on-1. The puck is jarred free. Mendoza scores! The puck was knocked free right to the stick of Rocco Mendoza, and it's 4-1 Pirates. Glover, one-on-one with the basket. Oh, Jaden Glover! With the windmill to send this place into a frenzy. And to the corner, Lawrence. No-look pass, and Wilcher lays it in. Wilcher to the hole. Simeon Wilcher starting to heat up. He's got 4 points, and Roselle Catholic leads by 11.
Watson to his brother, and Tariq is fouled and hits it. They'll go to the line for 1.
They'll pick it up, the clock will move. Lawrence with Adams on him, lost his footing, gets a shot up, and he gets it to go. At the buzzer, Jamarcus Lawrence, a big first quarter for the Nebraska commit.
The North Jersey Orthopedic and Sports Medicine Institute is the preferred practice for diagnosis and orthopedic treatment in New Jersey. From the moment you become a patient in our practice, our experienced team supports you until your full recovery with education, compassion, and understanding. Our focus includes sports injuries, as well as the treatment of a broad range of orthopedic complaints, from common tendon ailments and arthritic joint pain to traumatic injuries. Our facility offers an on-site physical therapy suite. In conjunction with specifically designed exercise programs, non-invasive and advanced healing technology, we can not only address the current injury, but also find the underlying cause, such as muscle weakness, imbalance, or improper form. We also offer non-surgical modalities, such as platelet-rich plasma injections, which can lead to an accelerated recovery. To provide efficient and excellent care, personal interactions and individualized attention for each patient is important. We are committed to create a protocol that can eliminate similar injuries in the future. At North Jersey Orthopedic and Sports Medicine Institute, we are dedicated to providing the highest standard of care and comfort of athletes, including patients with non-related sports injuries. Board-certified orthopedic surgeon and sports medicine specialist Dr. Michael Rusinella utilizes non-surgical and minimally invasive surgical procedures to help patients regain back their quality of life.
Welcome back here to Millburn High School, getting set for the start of the second half between Seton Hall Prep and Livingston. Kevin Connolly, Ryan Lowey with you. A 2-0 lead for the Pirates here in the Essex County Tournament semifinals. An early goal scored by Wiley Ong, and Eddie Krupski adds the second for the Pirates. And Ryan, they are in full control here with 40 minutes separating them between their 8th consecutive Essex County Tournament final.
Seton Hall Prep exploded right off the bat, Kevin. That was one of their keys to game. And Livingston, just on the other hand, they've been responding with possession, and they've been responding with shots, but not exactly on target. And Bonanno, he's not having too hard of a time back there, Kevin.
Off and running here in this second half, and yeah, it's Raymond Bonanno. Hasn't been forced into making too many stops. Dylan Santucci has had a couple of opportunities to try and press his cage, but has missed on both occasions. Goldsmith gave it right to Krupski, back to Ong. Seton Hall starts just like they did in the first. Wiley Ong is second of the game off the Krupski assist.
Kevin, what a duo those two have been. The junior connection. Seton Hall Prep cracking this game in half. It's 3-0. Look at them go, Kevin.
Dominance from the top-seeded Pirates. They do it just 27 seconds into the second half.
Kevin, Coach Rubinetti just in shock right now. Hands in his pockets. He hasn't really moved. Last time these two teams played, it was much closer effort. I mean, 3-0 is very hard to come back from, Kevin.
Especially against this Seton Hall team. Hasn't allowed 3 goals. Talking about their last New Jersey loss coming back in the 2020 season. Well, you got to go back to the 2019 season. Last time they allowed 3 or more goals to a New Jersey team.
Kevin Wiley on 2 goals so far today. That's against his hometown. He lives in Livingston, just 3 houses away from the high school itself, so quite the coincidence we're seeing right here.
Ong came into today's match with just 1 goal on the season. Today he has 2. Krupski adds his 6th assist of the year. It's been the Ong and Krupski show here at Millburn for Seton Hall Prep. Unless Livingston has a major comeback in them, Ryan, the drama we had yesterday not going to come to fruition here at our first semifinal today.
Kevin, as you said, the second game is going to be quite the thriller. Eastside and West Orange haven't seen each other yet, but we have seen, just great competition between the two against all different teams in the division, so it's going to be very exciting.
Signals to stop the clock. Yellow card handed out. Well, yellow handed out to Seton Hall, and it's going to go on Karan Shohan. So Shohan has to come off with the yellow. Siljanovsky comes in to replace him.
Kevin, Livingston boys soccer outscored on D1 Media Pro broadcast this year 5-0. Both times they've played Seton Hall, and Seton Hall has just come out playing their strongest soccer. You can catch that regular season matchup as I was on the call play-by-play on the on-demand function which is where you can watch all D1 Media Pro broadcasts that have previously been presented live in the past, excuse me.
Ryan, you mentioned the East Side Red Raiders here. They're going to head back to the locker room and get set for their semifinal coming up in just about an hour against West Orange, who have yet to arrive here at Millburn. West Orange hoping they can get a rematch with Seton Hall. Two teams met in the regular season, and just one of the best regular season games we've done. It was a 3-2 victory for the Pirates, but more specifically a rematch from last year's county final, with Seton Hall beat West Orange 2-0, but Eastside won some revenge on the Pirates for their 2-1 defeat. Only loss on their record so far this season last week against Seton Hall.
Kevin, a special thank you to Mr. Frank Bufolko, the AD of Millburn High School, for hosting today's boys semifinal matchup.
Also want to give a special thanks to our other presenting sponsors, the law offices of Ronald Thompson, Turano's Pizza Kitchen, and Inner City Cafe, alongside Tavares Insurance Agency. Them, in part with the North Jersey Orthopedic and Sports Medicine Institute and Corey Chiropractic, for their continued support of New Jersey high school athletics right here on D1 Media Pro. Seton Hall already a second half goal from Wiley Ong. Scored it quicker than he did in his goal 2 minutes into the first half. This time 27 seconds into the second half to seize control for Seton Hall Prep.
Yeah, he knows how to get a show started. Explosiveness right off the bat, working quite well with his fellow forward, Eddie Krupski, the junior. Look at the junior pair, Kevin. They have another year together at this level.
And Seton Hall looking to tie Columbia for the most consecutive Essex County Tournament Finals appearances. Columbia had 8 finals appearances from 1979 to 1986. Seton Hall from 2014 to 2021 has 7. Remember, there was no county tournament in 2020 because of the COVID-shortened season. So with a win here today with 35 minutes left on the clock, the Pirates will have their 8th consecutive final appearance. Foul was called on Seton Hall. It's a free kick for Livingston. From the 20, it's chipped in, and an easy stop there for Bonanno.
Kevin, a great out-of-conference matchup that we're seeing right now in action. Scotch Plains Fanwood for a 5 p.m. kickoff hosting the Millburn Millers. That's a phenomenal matchup, a Union County, Essex County crossover battle.
In those 7 straight Essex County tournament final appearances for Seton Hall dating back to 2014, they have won 4 of them, so they're 4-3. What a touch there by Krupski, but Siljanovski's offside.
A reminder to stay tuned. A 7 p.m. kickoff, maybe a little later, between Northeast Side High School, with only 1 loss in the season. That was against the Pirates. They're taking on the West Orange Mountaineers, another top 20 team. That's all next. Top 20 soccer, Kevin, here in the later rounds of the county tournament on the NFHSNetwork, presented by D1 Media Pro.
Corner for Livingston. Neil Hajib will be the one to take the corner for the Lancers, trailing by 3 early in this second half. Livingston, desperation mode, sends everybody in towards the box. And it gets deflected back out by Batten Johnny. And the rebound is sent high and wide of everything off the foot of Henslowitz.
Kevin, hard to believe the start that Seton Hall Prep had in both halves. It's been the separator so far. 2 out of the 3 goals scored within the opening 2 to 3 minutes of each half. And Wiley Ong lighting it up against his hometown.
Played back by Livingston, and now they'll look to send across. Off the head of Mendez and Nahenki. Pirates, I mean, as the games get tougher here in the county tournament, they're at the back end of what has been a brutal stretch of soccer for them, and it dates all the way back to their matchup on October 6th against against Montclair. They played Montclair back on October 6th. Then 2 days later, they had to turn around and go on the road to play Montclair Kimberly Academy. A day later, they had that matchup against St. Anthony's of South Huntington, New York, in which they lost by a goal. Then they had to turn around and go to Eastside on Tuesday to play Eastside. And then Thursday, the county tournament began, and they played Thursday and Saturday, victories over Bloomfield and the rematch against MKA. As Oladapo sends that one out on the near side, and it'll be a throw-in. And then they have today's matchup here in the semifinal against Livingston. So really, since October 6th, it's been nonstop soccer for the Seton Hall Prep side.
And they come up with the results, Kevin, when they're taking on in-state competition. One of the best defenses in the state of New Jersey last year and this year as well.
I mean, 5-1 in their last 6 games, dating back to that October 6th victory against Montclair, and half hour away from adding another win to that total.
Kevin, you know what's a competition I really want to see? St. Benedict's and Seton Hall Prep.
Yeah, that would be, I mean, some calling St. Benedict's best team, not just in New Jersey, but in the country, with the best player in the country. St. Benedict's no longer under the jurisdiction of the NJSIAA independent team, but many have called them best team in the country.
I mean, it's hard to argue that considering the results they put up, and I think actually Montclair, their Essex County competition this year, actually put up a great fight. Montclair very happy with the way they played.
Yeah, they lost 2-0. As there's a cross towards the box, one off the foot of Chiricello, and Hans makes the stop. St. Benedict's has 6 championships here in Essex County before their time in the county came to an end, but 6 titles, good for the 5th most all time in the 48-year history of this tournament.
Kevin, you could think of them, for basketball fans, as the Patrick School of Soccer.
Oladapo sends out a play, and it'll be a Livingston throw-in.
Two substitutions waiting for Livingston. Looks to be Gabe Kanchik and Ming Ma.
Cross is sent to the far end, and a bouncing ball will be played there by Lowenthal. That gets cleared out of play, and a Livingston throw-in. It's been all Pirates, as those subs will come in for the Lancers. Ma and Kanchik. It'll be Ethan Goldsmith and Chris Kane, who will get a breather for the Lancers.
And Kevin, speaking of competitions, another one that I wanted to see that we almost saw last year would be Westfield and Seton Hall Prep. That would be a great one. Seton Hall Prep's in-state out-of-conference matchup was versus Voorhees this year. That was a 3-0 victory in their name.
Yeah, two out-of-state teams. As that goes off ahead and just wide, Feldman tried to get Livingston on the board. One out-of-conference in-state opponent, like you said, Ryan, and Voorhees, but Pirates go out of state. They played Woodstock Academy. They played that game down in Pennsylvania, Woodstock Academy from Woodstock, Connecticut. They lost 3-2, and then also the loss against St. Anthony's of Long Island, 1-0 last week. Ming Ma just checked into the game. We'll give a touchback to Pessoa. Ball ricochets. Blocked aside by Bat and Johnny and cleared out. Missed our coverage of the girls' semifinals yesterday. Boy, did you miss two outstanding soccer games. Our first one featured Livingston and West Orange. After a scoreless first half, Livingston connected first, and with about 27.5 minutes to go in regulation, they took a 1-goal lead. But West Orange then woke up, scored 3 unanswered in the final 27 minutes to advance to back-to-back county finals. They won the Essex County Tournament Championship last year against Livingston, and they advanced to their second straight county final, and they meet Glen Ridge. And Ryan, what a game between 12th-seeded Glen Ridge and top-seeded Montclair. 2-1 victory for the Ridgers, and they're going to try and complete the Cinderella story against third-seeded West Orange on Saturday.
Well, they definitely played good soccer versus Montclair, and that's the toughest competition they could have played. They gave Montclair girls soccer their first loss of the season. They moved to 13-1-1. Glen Ridge girls now take on a fierce West Orange Mountaineers girls soccer team run by Jaden Schultz, the Boston University commit. Really good girls and boys soccer coming up this Saturday, Kevin.
And it was a second half that didn't see any goals. All 3 goals of that Glen Ridge Montclair game were scored in the first half. And it was a second half dominated possession-wise by Montclair, but Glen Ridge held them off and emerged victorious as another Livingston corner is away, and it comes back out to the near side. So in that girls' championship, which is scheduled for 2 o'clock on Saturday from Caldwell High School, it'll be 12th-seeded Glen Ridge and 3rd-seeded West Orange. You can catch the game live right here on D1 Media Pro. Boys' game to follow slightly after 4 o'clock. Looks like top-seeded Seton Hall Prep will be there. Who will they play? Either second-seeded East Side or third-seeded West Orange, and we're going to have to find out in just about an hour, as that second semifinal still to come here from Millburn. And Ryan, I always think back to Seton Hall's game against Columbia, just how quickly this Pirate team can score. And we've seen it here, scoring in the first 2 minutes of the first half and then the first 30 seconds of the second half. But that 3-2 overtime win over Columbia, that just demonstrated to this Pirate team that they can almost score at will.
Kevin, that was just a phenomenal game. Those 3 goals were very exciting, including an overtime victory. Really just showed how imbalanced, too, the competition really is here. We're seeing teams like Millburn, like Columbia, they're losing 4-5-0 one day, then the next day they're close to taking down a team like the Seton Hall Prep Pirates. So it's really been an exciting year.
If you're unfamiliar with that game, Columbia led 2-0 in the final 100 seconds of regulation. Eddie Krupski then scored 2 goals after he was battling cramps. He re-entered and scored 2 goals in the span of 37 seconds to tie the game up at 2. The game went into overtime, and Karan Shohan, 47 seconds into overtime, scored the game winner for Seton Hall. It was something like I've never seen before, with the stakes so high for a Columbia team who was a very good team. I mean, they lost 2-1 in the county quarterfinal to West Orange. They were the 6th seed. They were a very respectable side this year here in Essex County, and they had top-seeded or top-ranked Seton Hall on the ropes on their own field, and just Seton Hall somehow flipped a switch. And a game that everything was going right for Columbia, Seton Hall flipped on its head and came away with an overtime win. And if you want to watch that game, if our story enticed you, you can watch that full game in its entirety on the on-demand function here on D1 Media Pro. Ryan, like you said, you can do with all our games broadcasted for the rest of time as long as you have an NFHS subscription. Oladapo tried to send across to Siljanovski. Ball's played through there by Feldman, trying to find Santucci. Santucci battling Battenjohn. Battenjohn knocks it away, and it'll be a Livingston throw-in.
Kevin, that's one thing. Livingston's working the ball down the field. They've had some nice possession plays where they've worked from the back up, similarly to Seton Hall, but they haven't really been giving Bonanno the ride that Hans has been getting in net.
Cross to the back post. Denied by Brozon and cleared out by Krupski. Seton Hall led by Marty Berman in his 37th year as the head coach of this Pirates team. And, I mean, what a run. 513, 190, and 65. Marty Berman over 500 wins, closing in on 520 wins as the Seton Hall Prep soccer head coach. Began his run all the way back in 1986.
Yeah, and he actually credited head coach Doug Nevins of the West Orange Mountaineers for being the first of what is going to be a really long time of dominant Seton Hall Prep soccer.
And West Orange head coach Doug Nevins played a couple of years in his high school tenure for Berman and the Pirates. Ryan, you mentioned Livingston led by their head coach Roger Rubinetti. A long tenure with the Lancers, but not 37 years as long.
No, not 37 years, but he's been there for a long time. He's coached some phenomenal athletes. He's sent some great players to the next level. One thing he's always been set with in public schools, you know, they have it differently than private schools, is his goalkeeping. His goalkeeping situation has been impressive the past 3 to 4 years. And next year, Jake Hans will return for his senior year in net as well. But if you take a look at the history, Elijah Elster, a phenomenal goalkeeper, and then a year later, Benjamin Pollock, a phenomenal goalkeeper. So a line of great goalkeeping and a line of solid defense. Coach Rubinetti, a big fan of the 4-4-2 sweeper-stopper formation.
It's always good to have veteran leadership on a team. And for Seton Hall, I mean, no better experience than playing in Raymond Bonanno filling in for the injured Aiden Donovan. Donovan, who's a senior, but Bonanno just a junior. It'll be officially his cage for the Pirates next year. And, I mean, he's off to an outstanding start in his career as a starter. This will be his 8th. This is his 8th start, and his previous 7, he's 6-1.
Seton Hall Prep almost has like a monarchy line of succession for taking over the goalkeeping. Usually their starting goalkeeper is senior, their backup goalkeeper junior, and then they have that JV goalkeeper ready as a sophomore on JV and a freshman goalkeeper also in line. The difference is you very rarely see them skipping in that line, Kevin.
Eddie Krupski gonna come off for Seton Hall. Perhaps his evening is done. Has a goal and 2 assists to his name. More than halfway through with this second half, and Seton Hall fully in control. This one leading by 3. Ryan, always a major benefit. I mean, Seton Hall, they have played a lot of soccer in a short amount of time over the past couple weeks. Can get some of their regulars off their feet ahead of a county final on Saturday. Oladapo. Marjenka thought he had someone cutting on that back line. He let it go. Thought he had Siljanovski back there, but it was intercepted by the Lancers.
Having some talent brewing in Essex County. Interestingly enough, head coach Hernando Santamaria of North Academy has been praising the way the Irvington Blue Knights have been playing soccer in the SEC Colonial this year. So we're really seeing an interesting trajectory of good teams brewed for the future. As you said, Eastside should return good. Seton Hall Prep should return good. Livingston returning some key defenders and their starting goalkeeper. And of course, West Orange, possibly one of the best sub-varsity programs in the state.
18 minutes left to play. It'll be a throw-in on the far end. Livingston has not made the Essex County Tournament Final since back in 2015. It was a rematch of the 2014 matchup when the Lancers played Seton Hall. Livingston came on top in 2014. That was our last county championship. They fell in 2015 to Seton Hall and have not been back to the county final since.
Last year, however, Kevin, was probably one of the best records not just in the state, but in Livingston's history. A 16-4-1 regular season record. That's 16 victories playing in the SEC American Division, Kevin. We know that is probably the toughest division of soccer.
Seton Hall winning that American Division this year. They clinched it with their 2-1 win over Eastside back on October 11th. Grossman will flip downfield Lowenthal with Brozon right behind him. Taken away by the Pirates, played out to midfield. We'll work back to the middle of the field, and a foul called on Livingston, and it'll set up a Seton Hall free kick.
Kevin, some action. Livingston getting their bench ready. It looks like Rade Dobby, the sophomore, warming up for the Lancers.
I would imagine both teams going to go into their benches a little bit here with this game seemingly in hand and 16.5 to play. Season doesn't end here for Livingston. Still have a couple of regular season games left on their schedule. And then the state tournament to come.
Livingston, their one possible regular season finale would be a reschedule versus Pope John, who they were supposed to play earlier in the season. That game pulled from the schedule due to rain. A possible reschedule at Livingston High School, likely.
Also have a game slated against Verona on Saturday at 10 o'clock on their schedule. See if that game gets played. I can imagine Livingston was hoping that game wouldn't get played and they'd be in a county championship that day, but we'll see if the Lancers, in fact, do lace them up against the Hillbillies on Saturday at 10 o'clock. As for Seton Hall, they certainly will be playing on Saturday. It'll be at 4 o'clock, and it'll be against either West Orange or Eastside, two teams that they defeated in the regular season. 3-2 win on the road against West Orange and a 2-1 win on the road against Eastside. The foul's called against Livingston, and it'll set up a Seton Hall free kick. Both teams will make substitutions. It'll be Brady Longstreet that'll come on for Seton Hall. The next opportunity, and for Livingston, it'll be Jaden Lee. Free kicks away. Turned out there by the Lancers. Nice break up there by Bat and Johnny. Livingston still controls. They send to their back line. Roan Sullivan will be the first on it for the Pirates as he tries to turn upfield, battling Pessoa for it. And they'll keep it with Seton Hall.
Kevin, under 15 minutes left to play. Livingston really not showing signs of a potential goal coming in here.
Had their chances in the first half, specifically Dylan Santucci with a number of opportunities. Just not able to get one by Raymond Bonanno yet, and with time running out and Seton Hall adding to their lead 27 seconds into this second half, things looking bleak for this Lancer squad. But don't go anywhere, still to come in just over a half hour. It'll be a little bit longer than that. It'll be West Orange and Eastside in our second semifinal of the day. That'll be a foul on Seton Hall. It'll be a free kick for Livingston.
Kevin, Seton Hall graduated most of their starters last year and 20 seniors nonetheless. They still continue to show domination in later rounds of tournaments, regardless of the starting inexperience that they bring to the table.
And Livingston's going to make a goalkeeper change at the next substitution chance. Matthew John's going to come in to replace Jacob Hans. And now those subs will come in. So Jacob Hans's day is over in goal. It'll be Matthew John who comes in. Chris Kane also re-enters for Livingston, and Jaden Lee comes on, and Brady Longstreet replaces Marcus Brozon for Seton Hall. Checking out for Livingston, told you it's Hans. Also coming to the sidelines is Kanchik, and making the slow walk across, still not off the field yet, although play has resumed, is Charlie Grossman. So Matthew John in goal for Livingston. Ryan, why don't you tell us a little bit about him?
Matthew John, the 5'8 senior who had a great season last year, switching between the JV and the varsity level.
As whiffing on a shot attempt there was Kane. Had a chance to put Livingston on the board with 12 minutes to go.
Matthew John, also the Parsippany Soccer Club product.
So the backup getting some time for Livingston, trailing by 3, and that's kind of the white flag being waved by head coach Roger Rubinetti, taking out both Jacob Hans as starting goalkeeper and arguably his best forward in Charlie Grossman, as that got sent wide of the far post. And Marty Berman will reciprocate, sending in a pair of substitutes. That'll be Nicholas Lapchinsky and Daniel Ariaza. That'll come on for the Pirates. As you see there, the Livingston bench ahead of this goal kick from Raymond Bonanno.
Kevin, that's the action of Zachary Feldman right there, committed to play at the next level at Wesleyan. Also got some D1 looks himself. Lehigh was giving the player a bit of interest.
Kane trying to get it to his strong foot. As it's denied there, Bonanno came out. Bat and Johnny also on the defensive effort as that one comes in towards goal, and Bonanno picks it out of the sky. So Livingston a couple of chances to get on the board late in this second half to no avail. Seton Hall still with its 3-0 lead. Joaquin Nahenke stumbling up that far end, able to recontrol his balance and also recontrols the possession of the ball. He'll turn the corner. Seton Hall tries to test Matthew John. In his first couple of minutes into the game, it'll stay with Seton Hall. Once again, want to give a special thanks to our sponsors here today, the North Jersey Orthopedic and Sports Medicine Institute, Corey Chiropractic, Tavares Insurance, the law offices of Ronald Thompson, Turano's Pizza Kitchen, and Inner City Cafe. Luca Chiricello comes off as Lapchinsky comes on. Also, Siljanovsky checking out as Daniel Ariza gets his first action of the evening here for Seton Hall.
And Kevin, under 10 minutes left to play. Both teams somewhat waving the red flags. Any more goals scored in this contest, obviously putting on the pressure for it. But Livingston substituting in a new goalkeeper is their key substitution so far. And the key substitution for Seton Hall Prep has been Eddie Krupski coming off.
Yeah, Krupski came off at right around the 20-minute mark of the second half, but when Roger Rubinetti and Livingston pulled the plug on Jacob Hans and Charlie Grossman, that was the clear white flag that the Lancers were waving, saying, all right, we'll take our lumps here in this one and then prepare for the upcoming state tournament for Livingston as they try to make some noise.
Section 1, Group 4, Kevin, always lit up with a lot of talent. Carney in there, Elizabeth on the other side of Group 4, West Orange, Montclair. It's a very talented section. Just a very talented group in general.
I wonder what Montclair is thinking right now with Seton Hall Prep up by 3. And we told you at the beginning of this one the controversy in that quarterfinal victory for Livingston over Montclair, where Montclair thought they had the game's first goal early in the second half, but there was a hole in the net that the referees are supposed to examine each goal before the game. Apparently they did not, or they did and didn't do it well. So a Montclair goal was not allowed because there was a hole in the net. Referee said it didn't go through the net, which it clearly did if you look at the video. And then 3 minutes later, Livingston scored to take a 1-0 lead, and that was the final score of that one. They went on to win by that scoreline. So you have to imagine, I mean, Montclair, they can't be upset with Livingston. Livingston didn't do anything wrong, but you always wonder what that team, losing in a situation like that, what's their thoughts as this semifinal gets played under the lights here tonight.
Yeah, it reminds me of a situation the New Orleans Saints had in the NFL when they were taking on the Rams. Remember that pass interference controversy that really changed the trajectory of the Super Bowl matchup?
Yeah, it would have been the New England Patriots against the New Orleans Saints instead of the Los Angeles Rams, which gave us, I mean, unless you're a big-time defensive football fan, one of the most boring Super Bowls in recent memory.
It's followed by a not-so-good start to the next season as well. It was a low-scoring era in football. You call it the dead ball era of football.
But yeah, I always wonder what Montclair is thinking. And you wonder what they think more, because they played Seton Hall very tough in the regular season, that 2-0 loss back on October 6th. It was a game where their keeper was absolutely outstanding. Seton Hall easily could have had 5, 6, 7 goals in that one, but they only managed 2. You would think that Montclair and head coach Teray Weaver would want another shot at the Pirates, but they don't get it, and Livingston gets it, and Seton Hall has really dominated this game from the start as more substitutes are going to come on. It'll be 3 subs on each side for the final 6.5 minutes of this one.
Kevin, Montclair could also see Livingston or West Orange yet another time, too, so that would be quite exciting if they matched up in a playoff.
Yeah, the West
contest.
Orange Montclair regular season game was a 1-0 victory for the Mountaineers on a second-half goal scored by freshman Marcus Jackson, who you'll hear a lot of in our second game. Outstanding young player for the Mountaineer squad. Substitutes standing at midfield, the 3 for Seton Hall. Brandon Williams joined alongside Patrick Campbell and Miller Nelson. For Livingston, the 3 subs that'll come on are Matthew Kay, Jake Fursko, and Alex Volkov.
First 2 were seniors, and then Volkov a junior. Kevin, how about you announce we will be calling some Livingston basketball home games this year on the D1 Media Pro page on the NFHS Network, and as usual, we have a lot of Seton Hall basketball.
One more sub that does come on, just got to the midfield line in time, is Kirshen Bava. So both head coaches putting in their lesser experienced players for the final 5:20 of this one as all the players go off to a round of applause. Exiting for Seton Hall is Warjenka, Nahenki, Oladapo. And for Livingston coming off, Feldman comes off, Kane comes off, Blinderman comes off, and honestly not sure who that 4th player was that came off. Only saw 3 come off for the Lancers. They made 4 subs. I don't know, did you see who that last sub was that came off?
Unfortunately, Kevin, I missed it, but I can see the 4 that took over. Timmy Kelly getting some time in, Matthew Kay, as you said.
Yeah. 4:35 left to play here in regulation. Oh, the 1 sub is slowly walking around the Seton Hall prep goal. Looks like that's
Lowenthal.
28 Jacob Lowenthal. So Lowenthal was that final player to come off for Livingston. He just took the long route and went out of play on the far end and walked around the end line instead of running off to the near side.
Didn't want to take the express route on the train, I assume?
Yeah, he wanted to take the scenic route, I guess.
25 minutes cut.
Actually, a train station in Millburn here, but there's also one in Short Hills. So if you don't take express, you'll find yourself running through a mall. South Orange, Maplewood, you name it.
Seton Hall looking to add one more on a shot there from Daniel Ariaza. It got deflected, and it'll be a Pirate corner with under 4 minutes to play. And Seton Hall is in no hurry, nor should they be, to attempt this corner.
Kevin, another game coming up after this, Eastside and West Orange. As we've mentioned, very excited for that one. It's going to be a great competition.
Eastside, quote-unquote, the home team as the 2 seed. West Orange on the road as the 3 seed in this neutral site matchup. Pirates will have a corner with 3.5 minutes to play. It comes towards the back post, rattles off ahead, and we get a whistle. It was denied there by John, but they'll get a push and a foul on Seton Hall. I'll set up a free kick for Livingston.
Kevin, how about the playoffs starting 4 days earlier this year on the 27th of October? Moved up the schedule this year, Kevin, when it comes to playoffs, a few days earlier.
Another foul called. Seton Hall have a free kick. You can catch all of the Seton Hall prep games playoff games, state playoff games, until they tell us we can't broadcast them anymore. And alongside West Orange, you can catch them all right here on D1 Media Pro, as well as some of the most anticipated. Oh, there's a big-time collision. John got a piece of it, and then the rebound by Brandon Williams is sent out of play, but that wouldn't have counted. They got a foul call beforehand. More subs will come on. Colton Grove comes on for Seton Hall, and Luke Petrina comes on for Livingston.
Now, Luke Petrina holds a record here in Livingston for track and field, so his speed is his dominance.
See if he showcases that here over the final 2 minutes. But all Seton Hall Prep and West Orange games in the state playoffs can be seen live right here on D1 Media Pro. And as I was finishing that point, as well as some of the biggest games in the state playoffs, so stay tuned to our upcoming slate of games in the state playoffs here on D1 Media Pro. Some of the biggest games across New Jersey will be seen right here on the NFHS Network.
Kevin, with this loss, Livingston will move to 6-5-1, and Seton Hall their 14th win, I believe, of the season.
Will be their 14th. They'll be 14-2, and more importantly for them, they will make their 8th straight Essex County Tournament Championship game appearance. They tie Columbia, who made 8 consecutive finals appearances from 1979 to 1986. Pirates have 7 county finals championships. Patrick Campbell takes a spill on the far end.
There's the Wesleyan commit, Zachary Feldman.
Yeah, it looked like icing down that shoulder a bit.
He actually faced an injury, had to miss about 5 or 6 games or so prior to this one. Was back for the county tournament due to an injury in the regular season Seton Hall Prep matchup, Kevin.
It'll be a free kick for Seton Hall. Time running out as that comes in for John, and he makes the stop. Seton Hall Prep going to cruise to victory here in the Essex County Tournament semifinals against Livingston. It'll be a 3-0 victory for the Pirates. 2 first-half goals. Wiley Ong, Eddie Krupski, and Ong got his second 27 seconds into the second half as Seton Hall Prep a 3-0 victory over Livingston, and they'll be playing on Saturday in the Essex County Tournament Championship game for the 8th consecutive year.
Making the 8th consecutive appearance in the Essex County Final, which will be played at 4 p.m. Saturday at Caldwell High School. And upcoming.
So the Pirates advance to Caldwell High School with a 3-0 victory over Livingston. Ong, 2 goals, Krupski, a goal and 2 assists, and a shutout from Raymond Bonanno in goal, as the Pirates were dominant for 80 minutes here in this semi-final. 1 game still to come, and it should be a good one. Eastside and West Orange. Winner gets Seton Hall on Saturday in the county final. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back in about 25 minutes with kickoff between the Red Raiders and the Mountaineers. Thanks for tuning in. We'll be back right after this.
He's going to take it himself for a championship.
A double play wins it for Frazier. Turn it to the end zone. What a catch. McKay's on touchdown.
Into the layup, goes at the buzzer.
Wins it. The championship.
He's going